a very, very warm welcome. Many thanks for joining us on yet another edition of Stop the Accident, a platform where together with you and all stakeholders, we try to find ways to minimize accidents in our country and thus reduce numbers of fatalities and deaths. All right, we've got a good show for you this afternoon. We continue on our topic last week, electricity and you. And over the course of the week in Calabar, you must have heard of all of the things that happened there. So many people electrocuted, and there were some fatalities. Engineer Jamiu Badmus is already in our studio to break down everything for us and give us a lot of tips that will prevent such occurrences and prevent needless deaths in our country. I'm Kunle Aborosade, and we will be right back and get to the nitty-gritty of it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Give me a little time to work with it.
Hey, miss. Lady, your dog's tearing your car apart.
Oh. Max, come back here. Max!
Thank God. Poor baby. Yeah, okay. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Oh, you're such a good dog.
If you're just joining us, take a seat and relax as I'm joined by my guest as safety analyst for this afternoon. He started it last week. He's concluding it this afternoon. Engineer Jamiu Badmus, welcome again to Stop the Accidents.
It's my pleasure, sir.
Okay, and well, you remember last week you were talking about so many things that could go wrong with electricity. Just as you have the benefits, so also must you ensure that the other side do not happen. We talked about surges, we talked about so many other things. And in particular, I remember you talked about high tension and the need to avoid buildings and all of that under high tension, you know. And we decided that this week we'll come back and talk about it and elaborate on it, you know. And well, just during the week, the incident in Calabar happened, you know. And well, our understanding was that some of them it was a viewing center and they were watching the match, and then the incident happened. First of all, do you have the details of what happened, what exactly happened before we analyze that vis-a-vis what we were talking about last Sunday?
Yes, just as we said on the last program,
Yes.
we said whenever people are building under high tension, encroaching power line,
Yes.
it is very, very wrong. By the standards that regulate this type of installation and structures and building, that is the NESIS regulation 2015
Okay.
from Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, is very clear under chapter 3 section 3.1, very clear that if you are building and your building is from the power line to your building, it should be 5.5. That distance should be there as a clearance.
Okay, Engineer Badmus, sorry for interrupting, but I just want to get it clear. Whose responsibility is to ensure that this is done?
Is the government,
Okay.
especially because the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC,
Yes.
or NEMSA, who also support NEC,
Yes.
they don't have power to demolish buildings.
Okay.
Any building that violate these fundamental laws
Yes.
that's supposed to be demolished is by the government.
Okay.
Unfortunately, some of these buildings, they have CFO. You'll be surprised.
Oh, really?
That somebody would have given them
the
CFO.
Despite the fact that they're under high tension. Yeah.
Yes, we even add that. You see, in some places they are building some shops now. Local governments will build shops and they build it under high tension.
Okay.
So if governments are building there, people will not know. They will just think, let me buy these shops, let me live in this place. But the truth of the matter is, you are not expected to live there because the law, NESIS law, is very clear.
Okay.
If such feeder should come down and touch your building and cause an havoc or take someone's life, which is very precious,
Yes.
the licensee, that is the company,
Yes.
they are not liable. The law is very clear on that. But most people don't know.
Okay.
The moment it happens, the next thing is they say the distribution companies, the power, NEPA,
Yes.
this and this, they are in trouble. No,
okay.
because the law is clear.
Okay,
You
okay.
go to meet them
Yeah,
at their own right of way.
Okay. So it is actually for you to protect yourself. Be sure that you are not building under high tension and that this is regulated. And you can wonder, some of the engineers who construct this building, they are also aware of these laws, and yet they go ahead and they build these buildings.
In short, if you look at construction sites, during construction work, a lot of construction workers have died as a result of trying to go near power line.
Okay.
Sometimes they are using crane.
Yes.
You see them on sites, and the crane, boom, and go straight to touch
The
high
high
tension.
tension,
That
and-
has happened severally, and the person there gets electric shock.
Yeah.
And sometimes the person could be electrocuted.
Okay.
So it depends
Okay.
on how severe the shock
The
is.
shock is okay. We get to the issue of electric shock and electrocution and clear that for our viewers, but we don't want to lose track of what we're discussing, Engineer Jamiu, about the Calabar incident. Okay, what exactly happened there?
Now, the Calabar incident is very, very clear. Though investigation is ongoing,
Okay.
based on the NEC regulation and standard.
Yes.
The first thing is the Health and Safety Department of the distribution company,
Okay.
that's Port Harcourt, is to first send a notification within 24 hours,
Okay.
which I'm aware they have sent.
Okay.
And the next stage is for an investigation to have a primary investigation, which I'm aware it has been done.
Okay.
So the final stage is to now bring out a report. NEC, NEMSA, these regulators are already at the place from the beginning,
Okay.
from that day one,
Okay.
because it brings about international, reputation, that
okay.
incident.
Okay.
Now, if you look at that incident, it is very clear. A wire snap, that's a wire cut, and get in contact to the viewing center.
Okay, well, the viewing center must have been under high
The
tension.
viewing center is directly under high tension.
Just like you were saying last week.
Last week, exactly.
Oh.
Directly under
Oh.
high tension, and they built it with a roofing material,
Oh.
roofing sheet material, which is also a conductor of electricity.
Oh, God.
So like some of them said it was transformer explosion. It's not true.
Okay.
When a wire snap,
Okay.
which of course is live on potential, and it touches the roofing sheet, another metal, there will likely be an explosion.
Okay.
That is the explosion they had, and they start rushing out. Unfortunately, the structure itself violates the fire safety code of Nigeria.
Okay. Which we have also discussed on this program, that in your homes, in your offices, in the church, in the mosque, everywhere, there must be multiple entry points. There must be multiple entry points. And well, if in your homes, the other entry points, you go and pack baggages there and block them and all of that, and you just have one way in, one way out, and then this tragedy happens, what happens? Okay, go on.
That's exactly the problem they had.
Okay.
It was one way in, one way out.
Oh, okay.
And the roofing sheet also. So automatically, when you heard such sound, your adrenaline hormone in us, that hormone is secreted and the fear comes in. The next thing that comes to your brain is, how will I leave
This
place?
environment.
So all of them want to leave at the same time.
Through one entry
Through one
point.
entry point.
Another tragedy.
And that place is already an iron, built. Automatically, they have to touch that part of the
Okay.
iron, which is electrified.
Okay.
It has been electrified.
Okay. And then that inevitable tragedy, which would have been prevented. These lives are lost needlessly. And that is what we'll talk about on this program. How together with you and other stakeholders we can prevent some of these lives. We've heard that it's 7 lives, 30 lives. It doesn't really matter. One life is very, very precious. And if we can prevent that one life from being lost, then we'll have achieved something significant. And so we will come back and talk about electric shock and being electrocuted, and also talk more about the rules governing high tension and all of that, so that you know clearly what the law says, what your responsibilities are, and all of that. It's Stop the Accident. This breezy, cool Sunday afternoon. We'll be right back.
Now you have a voice. Now you have the platform. Now let it be our collective responsibility to stop the accidents. Stop the Accidents beams its searchlight every week on the issue of safety and how to prevent accidents at the workplace, in our homes, on our roads, and on construction and building sites, and other accident-prone settings. Join Timiduro Dola and Kuna Bodishade as they investigate and talk to experts to bring you safety scoops every week. Stop the Accidents on NTA.
All right, welcome back. And well, we've been talking about electricity and you. And well, because for electricity, there are personal responsibility that you must take and be ensured that whatever happens, you are accident free. And well, Engineer Jami Badmos started this topic last week, and we are ending it today. Last week, he talked about the importance of not building under high tension. And well, unfortunately, during the week, the incident in Calabar demonstrated just that. A viewing center directly under high tension, there was a cut, and then it landed on what you call the conductor roofing material. And well, before you know it, lives were lost. Investigations underway, but at least for now, we can say authoritatively that it was a high tension incident, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Just.
All right. Okay. So, well, the investigation is ongoing, and well, we see how that pans out. But what is important is what we have been saying. Number one, that you must check where your buildings are located. You must be sure that for avoidance of that, again, 5 meters.
5.5.
5.5 meters from where the high tension cable is. You can check that out yourself, and if you can't, you can get somebody who has that knowledge to ensure that you are not within that perimeter, because if you are certainly at risk. Okay.
Exactly.
And then we also say that, look, whether your house, wherever it is, you must have multiple entries to your location where you are. Okay, so that in case of any accidents, you will be able to find alternative paths to get out of that. Okay, so electricity shock is when somebody has been shocked by electricity, and being electrocuted means the person is gone.
Exactly.
Okay, so break that for us.
Now, the truth is this. Most of us don't know the difference between electrocution and electric shock.
Okay.
Whenever there is an electrical accident,
Yes.
and some people died or some people are injured, the next thing everybody says is such a number of people have been electrocuted, thinking
Okay.
that they receive electricity.
Okay.
Electrocution is a word coined from two words.
Okay.
Electricity
Okay.
plus execution.
Execution.
Execution
Okay.
means to kill.
To kill.
Electricity means electricity kills the person.
Okay.
So for you to say 2, 3, 4 people are electrocuted, it means
they are dead. Okay.
They are
Okay.
not more living.
Okay.
But
Okay.
if they are not dead, they can receive electric shock and
Okay.
have electrical injury.
Okay.
In addition to that power line distance,
Yes.
we should also note that 11 kV, that's 11,000 volts, and 33,000 volts, 33 kV, they are the ones that have that 5.5 meter distance.
Okay.
If you are talking of transmission lines, like 132 kV, those big ones up,
Yes.
your distance for them should be 15 meter for 132 kV.
Okay.
And for the 330 kV, that third one also, your distance should be like 25 meter.
Okay.
These are written in the guidelines, but people encroach all this power corridor.
Okay. All right. So it's broken down to us that this afternoon between 11,000 and 33,000 meters minimum of 5.5 meters. Stay away. Your house must be 5.5 meters away. Those bigger ones up there, you see all these things all the time. Now you can come out of your house and look at them, you know. And then those bigger ones, 132, it has to be 50 meters minimum. And for the biggest one, the 330, in fact, just stay a mile away. In fact, just go away from there. Just stay some miles.
Because that one should come down.
Yes, oh,
that one
yes.
is catastrophic.
Catastrophic.
If it comes down.
Catastrophic. Okay, so, well, can we take 1 or 2 calls? Is it possible this afternoon? And can you share your experience with us? Okay, if that is possible, let my director see whether we can do that, because I'm sure many of you are already thinking about this, and you have a lot of things to contribute and to say. But well, whether you get us or you don't get us, what is important are the things that we have given to you, the facts that we have given to you, and the fact that, well, you have to be aware of your environment and your surrounding. So important and all that. Engineer Badmus, 1 or 2 things you want to add to millions of our viewers watching?
In addition, whenever you see that it's raining, always be very careful.
Okay.
Because if it is raining, there is likelihood for
Okay.
the wire to cut or to snap.
Okay.
And when it snaps during rain, it can also lead to electric shock and probably electrocution if care is not taken.
Okay. So when it is raining, you have to be very, very careful. In fact, if you are walking, you have to be sure of where you are stepping, because you know some wires can be under the puddle of water and you don't know. And then you step on it, and then the rest is history. So exactly. When it is raining, try and stay away from the street. It's just common sense.
Yeah.
Just stay away from the street until at least the water drains out, you know, and you can see clearly what you are matching and where you are going. So rains and electricity don't go together. Don't go together. And some people say when it's raining, the power company cuts the light. This is one of the reasons why they do, isn't it?
Exactly. Sometimes they just switch it off so that you don't have access to it.
Okay, I can see some calls coming, but it will look as if we do not have the time to take those calls. I know so many of you would like to make a statement on that, but well, you can't always reach us. You have seen how you can reach us on the screen there. Throughout the week, the conversation continues. www.stoptheaccident.tv, www.stoptheaccident.tv. Send the messages coming, and if you are sending us email, info@stoptheaccident.tv. Share your experiences with us and let us enlighten all of us together. We can prevent so many deaths that are needless. Okay, fantastic. Engineer Badmus, I have to thank you for coming. And well, in 30 seconds, if my director can take that, in 30 seconds, please talk to our viewers and wrap up what we have discussed in the 2 weeks.
In essence, we should make electricity our servant, not our master.
Okay.
Because if you make it our masters, it will destroy us more.
Okay.
So we need to follow all the basic rules. For the communities around there, don't engage illegal electrician to fix any wire for you.
Okay.
Call the necessary distribution company to do the job. They are trained to do the job. Your electricians are not trained to do the job. Don't engage electricians to start working for you. If your lines have been disconnected, maybe as a result of no payment, go and pay your money. If you don't pay, don't use electricians that will cause more problem.
Quacks to go up there and fix,
they'll fix it for you and they have accident.
And have accident.
And we need to have, we need to believe life is very precious.
Very, very precious. Okay. All right, Engineer Badmus, thanks for coming. And from time to time, even if you can't come here, I'm sure we can get you on the phone if there are breaking news like this in which you can shed more lights for us. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, well, I'm Kule Abroshade. We do it next week by the grace of God. Bye-bye.